Hi there. Today we're going to look at the small RF sender and receiver at 433 megahertz. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, this is the sender. And let me just pick up. This is the receiver. These small units can send or transmit and receive a radio signal over. Well, inside I get good distance, outside it's terrible. But I'm going to show you how they work. First of all, you need to add a small antenna to these. As you can see, I have added a small antenna to the sender, and I also have a small antenna on the receiver. They are actually the same length, except on the sender it's curled up. And on the receiver it's just long like this. If you don't add an antenna, it won't work at all. That's simple. Antenna or nothing. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add the transmitter on a breadboard like this with the Arduino. And it has 3 legs. It even says ATAT, VCC and ground. So it's taking voltage on the middle, ground on the outer one, and data on the other end. And we're going to hook it up to a Arduino. So here we go. It's on the breadboard and it's hooked up to a original Arduino Uno. Its data signal is going to digital port number 12, and it's getting powered. So before we move on, let's just make sure we have the software ready for this thing. Let's do this. There we go. And here we have the transmitter library. It's very old and very outdated, but it works. And as you can see, I'm using the software 1.5.8. The software is not written by me, but a guy called Mike McCauley, I think, and it's dated 2008. Even though we're in 2014 now, it's still working. So it's really simple. The transmitter is really simple. We include the library. It's running a serial, and we don't really need that serial. It's just sending print line setup. It's just showing setup if you open the serial. It's the library is called by VV, and you have different functions, but we only need 5 of them for the transmitter. We got a set pin, meaning we're sending data over pin 12. We're going to set the signal inverted. It's required for this radio and ours. And we're setting the bit rate at 4000. In the main loop, we're setting a message. This could be anything. So if you're transmitting a digital signal or anything, you'd have to replace it with the hello. Maybe you're turning things on and off and you want to send an I/O signal. You just drop that instead. Digital pin 13 through, that's just to indicate the light signal on when we're sending and off when we're not sending. Here's the really interesting thing. VV send, and we're going to send it as a unit 8 and message and length. So this is actually the entire thing required to send the message. This is the line that calls the wait or just stops the loop while the message is being sent or transmitted. So let's just upload that to, I think it's the wrong Arduino. Yep, it says COM6 down here, so we should be getting an error once it's done compiling. Thank you. COM4, there we go. Excuse me, just getting some coffee. There we go, uploading. And uploading is done. I'm going to unplug the Arduino because having 2 plugged in at the same time rarely works. Here is the receiver. There we go. And as you can see, it has 4 pins, and I'm holding the antenna. The antenna is the same length as the transmitter. And just like the transmitter, if there's no antenna, it won't work at all. If you get it to work without an antenna, it's just luck. Don't expect it to work unless you add an antenna. And there is no antennas on these by default. Anyway, it has 4 pins. Let's see. The one towards the middle is the power, and then the 2 in the middle are data signals, and the one outermost over to this side is ground. And I'm only using one data signal. If you're going to try to use both, don't, because you get your signals mixed up. But what it really allows us to do is take the signal out twice. And that's something that could be used to clean the message or use the same message on multiple devices. That's pretty cool. But I'm just going to use the one in the middle, or towards the middle, near the power line. And I'm going to hook it up to my breadboard. Here we go. And this is a Uno replica China thing. Just like before, power, ground, and I got a data signal to port 12 on the Uno. So let's power it up. Make this guy small again. And we got this receiver signal, as you can see, and that's where we get the license or agreement. You can see author Mike Macaulay, copyright 2008. Anyway, there's a bit more code here, but not much. We include the library just like before. And in this case, we're actually going to watch the serial monitor to check for the message hello from before, and it's going to print setup first and set the data to be received on pin 12. Inverted signal, yes. Bitrate 4000, it has to be the same as the sender. And this one has to be initialized, so that's why we have this receive start. So it's going to start receiving, otherwise it won't work. It's going to check for the length and store the length. So buffer the length of the message and store it. And if we're getting a message, here we're getting the message, blah, blah, blah. Turn the light on. That's pin 13 on the Arduino, you know, the standard LED. Turn it on. So whenever you're getting a message, it's on. It's going to print the message, and you can see it's actually going to print the entire message. First, it's going to print God. Then it's going to print the line of characters you're sending. And it's going to add a space in between each, but that's fine. So our hello message is going to say H space A space L and so on. And it's going to count up and stop after the message has been received and set a new line. Turn the light off. That's basically it. Let's upload it. And yeah, I did it again. It's the wrong COM port. So here we go. Yeah, COM6. Upload again. Compiling. And let's give it a second. I'm getting some coffee. Very nice. Done uploading. So I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to open the serial monitor for the Arduino on COM6. You can see it says setup now. And I'm now going to plug in the transmitter. And there we go. Our message is being received, and it seems to be receiving it clearly. That's cool. And I don't know if you can see it, but let's try. I'm going to add some shade to it. It might just show up as red, the LED, because because of the frame rate on YouTube. But it's actually flashing really fast, and that's because it's flashing every time it's getting a message. Also, we can try, and you can see I can't select down here because we're auto-scrolling. Well, in short, it's working, and it's sending the message. That's all we wanted. RF signal sender and receiver, transmitter, sorry. No complaints whatsoever. The only thing I would complain a bit about is the range on these things. Inside, it's great. I tried. I live on a farm, and I'm able to transfer right here from this spot over to the far end of the building and back. However, outside, I can't even get it to work for 5 meters. So that's funny. But I think it was because I was running the transmitter on a 9-volt battery, and I'm not sure that is enough. Even though right now the transmitter is only using 0.05 amps, 0.29 watt, so it's not really that bad. Anyways, guys, if you have any comment, mentions, oh my god, if you have anything to say, let me know in the text box below. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.